Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, track star family. How are you? Hopefully, everybody is well. And I am back with the promised cassette tape side A episode for the ladies, speaking on soul ties. Boy, oh boy, you are in for a good one. And all I can say is you're going to see why I could not rush this content and why I did not release this on Sunday. Now, men, if you're in the chat, get out. It's like, no, you can stay, you can stay. Okay? There's only one rule though, if you're going to stay for the cassette tape side A for the women. My only rule is you cannot heckle the women in the live chat or the comment section. Okay? No giving too loud of an amen. Okay? No bickering. Okay? If you feel the urge to do so, please step out of the chat or the comment section, or else ladies will be given the signal to gather you and toss you out. Okay? And that's on Mary and her little lamb. Now, before I officially start today's content, you know what I gotta do. But welcoming the content, here goes. The unhealthy soul ties and being unequally yoked. Am I in trouble? Cassette tape side A for the women. And before officially starting the content for today, you know I gotta do it. Warning, I am not a licensed psychologist, psychiatrist, therapist, or a person within the medical field, okay? I am simply a girl on the internet that you may never meet who just happens to have an opinion and does research, okay? I'm not trying to be big. I'm not trying to diagnose your life. I'm not trying to fix your life like Ayanla. There's only one person who can do that, and it ain't me. Okay? Now, back to the topic at hand. A soul tie. Shaina, one track. What is that? Right? Let's talk about it. A soul tie refers to a soul connection between two people, which is deeper than your average mental emotional bond, being that it's strengthened by one or multiple physical intimate encounters or a single encounter. Woo! Okay, Shay, because what? That was a loaded definition. I'm gonna need this Barney style. I had a long day at work. Okay. I had to pick up the kids. I had a house to clean, etc., etc. I know, ladies, I know. I got you. I got you. You know me. You know me. In layman terms, healthy or not, soul ties can impact your entire makeup, mind, body, and spirit when you throw intimacy, physical intimacy in the mix with a partner. That's all that means. That's what a soul tie in general is. Okay? So that leads to a few more questions that you may have. How do we even go about defining what a soul is? And is this even different from a spirit? Is it the same? And how does soul differ from spirit if you're able to say mind, body, and spirit instead of mind, body, and soul? And we're speaking on soul ties. Great questions. Okay, I got you. Hear me out. So, first, we should probably start out defining each, both the soul and the spirit. So, let's go ahead and define those things separately. So, the soul, which some of you may know that if you've been here for a while, I enjoy kind of picking into things and digging into things in different languages other than English because what? English is a bastard language. It has been infiltrated, it has been obliterated, it has been watered down as far as history and text goes, right? So I looked at what soul would mean in the Hebrew and in the Greek. You're welcome. Soul in the Hebrew refers to the word nephesh, meaning breath. And this reference can be found in Genesis chapter 2, verse 7, where God literally breathed into the nostrils of Adam once he was created. Also, you can find that reference in Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 19, where nephesh also refers to life giving blood, which really, in essence, means the soul in this context would center around the entire being. You, as a human in flesh form, given purpose, where life has been breathed in you and blood has flowed through you. Deep, right? But then we go into the Greek, and their interpretation is literally for soul translated as psyche, which is like the mind, or consciousness. So, either way, if you take two fragments of two different languages of origins, the entire definition of a soul is one that is basically made of purpose, that is given breath, blood, and a mind of consciousness. That is very powerful. Very powerful. None of you that are listening to this, ladies, have been made on accident. You are fearfully and wonderfully made by God. Even if you don't feel like it right now, you're going through turmoil, you have an unhealthy soul tied to a man right now, I'm letting you know. Stop beating yourself up because you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Now let's look at how soul differs from spirit. So, spirit is more so of a gateway from your soul that is either headed towards good or bad, getting you closer to or further from God. This may also involve other spirits, being which spirits you make contact with. This also includes physical contact. Yes, and can influence your soul person, your spirit woman, your soul. It can influence where the destination for your soul goes. Powerful, right? Now, acknowledging mind, body, and spirit over mind, body, and soul is important because it's the spirits around us through people we encounter that can influence where your soul, your spirit woman, is heading towards. So, going back to the topic at hand of soul ties, do you see how intermingling with somebody physically on an intimate level can either enhance your life or it could be to your detriment? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? because I don't want to go over anyone's head. I'm trying to take my time. This is a lot to go through, which leads to the next topic at hand. So, one track, how does doing the deed with unequally yoked partners impact women? Because women, like I said, this is ladies' night. We can talk about the men later, but we're up first. Let's have an open and honest dialogue when it comes to this. Okay? How does this impact you? Well, doing the deed as far as your mind and your body goes for women, let me show you something that I just learned as of late. You see this right here, ladies? This is something called oxytocin. Some of you may be familiar with it, others may not. But I'm here to tell you exactly what this compound is. Doing the deed, as far as mind and body goes, is very important to look at, being that women tend to release something called oxytocin whenever they do the deed. Now, what is oxytocin? Oxytocin is a hormone and a neurotransmitter responsible for the feel good aspect of knocking boots between two people, but especially women. And women, oxytocin comes in more ways than one for you. It's not just with your partner, it can come from hugging your best friend, especially hugging your child directly after childbirth. This is why, by design, God has made the woman a better and more suitable nurturer than a man. It's not just the emotions. Biochemically, you are a nurturer by design, which means you're going to feel your emotions and others around you more, especially in a spiritual sense. Okay? So, how does this differ from men when you're doing the deed if this is a shared experience? Well, science says men only release oxytocin during the deed when they are enamored, aka when they're in love with you. Otherwise, they only release testosterone. Hmm. So, one track, how is this dangerous for women? Well, if the two of you aren't exactly on the same page and there's already enmity between men and women, that they're not wired the same way when it comes to physical contact and exertion, do you see how not being on the same page about something as simple as effectively communicating feelings can lead to a few things, such as heartbreak? Ladies, in 2024, you'll be surprised how many of your friends you feel that they should know better, but decide to break their own hearts by holding on to expectations and not communicating. Because everybody's grown until it's time to communicate, right? Especially feelings, allegedly. I think it's about time we start to notice the patterns that we may give off, allowing ourselves to be manipulated by not voicing our true intentions and what we want, and being able to walk away confidently if that person cannot give it to you. That is the essence of one aspect of being equally yoked. If he doesn't want the same thing you do, why are you trying to force it? Long gone are the days where we are sitting here trying to change the opinions or the mindsets of someone who doesn't want to be with you. Okay? Which leads me to this. If a woman decides to sleep with a man enough times, being that she's wired differently with oxytocin, her mind and body then can become influenced by neurotransmitters and hormones in her brain and body that would associate being with said person to think she's now in love, even if she's not. Now you have a whole generation of women, and I'm not going to put anybody specifically on blast, but we have women out here endorsing the idea of taking on the mindset of men where you can go about doing whatever you want in bed and not having feelings. This is not how you were designed. This isn't how anybody should be designed, but especially not someone who was made physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually to be a nurturer. How are you going to have children and raise children if you are already wired not to care for a partner? Stop coming into agreement with spirits physically that are here to destroy your mind, body, and soul, is all I'm saying. You're coming into agreement with things that are good and bad when you physically make contact with someone. Let's talk about what you really can come into agreement with. If feelings are not returned, this may make her bitter, untrusting, and no longer finding intimacy as a reward, but a punishment or an unobtainable goal, which may what? It may develop you into having or adopting an avoidant attachment style. We spoke about these things in previous cassette tape episodes, right? Where the avoidant attachment style may be a man or a woman, but in this case, we're going to talk about a woman who may want the world, may be a hopeless romantic at heart, but because she's been so hurt and not being able to release and let go of what has hurt her, she thinks it's now okay to downplay what she wants to make it look as if she has control over her emotions and her mind. You're really not doing anything except setting yourself back, boo boo. Boo boo kitty, are you listening? Heal. It's okay. But this is why it's important how you come into agreement with spirits. It is okay to date and not sleep with nobody. I promise you it's okay. And what you do behind closed doors is your business. I'm not coming for anybody who decides to have and do the deed outside of marriage, but you have to understand what may come with that if you decide to go that route. Because whatever it is that you decide to do outside the will of God, you have to keep doing that to maintain whatever you obtained outside of the will of God. Do you hear what I'm saying? Now, how do I know I have an unhealthy soul tie with someone? Well, there's a couple of things that we can talk about here, but I'm going to talk about three things specifically. Number one, you still feel like you have an emotional, mental, spiritual attachment to someone you know you should no longer be or associate with, and may even resent them. Your mind and heart are never in agreement. Ladies, ladies, ladies. Oh, my head. Where's my coffee? Let's pretend for a second, even if this does apply to you right now, ladies, that we are talking about a friend. Because we all have that one friend, right? No matter what, they can sit here, bash a man up, down, around, okay? They talk about all the wrong over a long period of time, over a span of time that he has done to her. You're tired of hearing about it, but you're there for emotional support and you keep asking yourself, why am I here if they're just going to run back to homeboy anyway, right? But then this is how there's a slight indication that this person may have an unhealthy soul tie. So let's say your friend comes back to you for the 100,000th, millionth, billionth time. Oh, he's done me so wrong. I'm so done with him. You might hide the fact that you're rolling your eyes and you're like, okay, whatever, sis. And you start to repeat all the things that she's told you over time, convincing her as to why she should just finally be done. And instead of her agreeing with you, she might even become defensive, despite the fact that her body language, her spirit, her emotions, her mind, everything come into agreement that you may be right, but she still is defensive and defends the person even in their absence. That right there is a good indication she may have an unhealthy soul tie. Yes. This person has drained her spiritually by constantly giving her the stimuli that she needs biochemically with hormones, feel good hormones, by giving her a high every time. They may not even be doing the deed, they could just be kissing, holding hands, and hugging. Now you took away her supply. You made it all that real to her just by reciting and letting her know again of the laundry list of things as to why she shouldn't mess with him no more. But instead, she's defending him. That is a spirit that attached to her. She needs to break that cycle, but only she can. And it's gonna take work because that's not an easy thing to do. Let's go to number two. Let's say your friend has left the relationship months or years ago, but you, let's say if you're in the situation or her, can't stop thinking about the person, even though they bring up feelings of anxiety or depression. Let's bring an example to this. Let's say, ladies, you finally moved on. It's been years since you last saw him. You convince yourself that you're healed. You haven't even been dating because you swear up and down you've been working on you. You say, I'm about to have a better relationship with myself. I'm about to take self care Sundays seriously again. I'm about to get this body right. I'm about to go back to the gym. I'm about to go to church. Okay. All the things. I'm about to cut and color my hair because, ladies, yes, I've been there too. Okay. New hair, who this? New phone, who this? New number, who this? Okay. You did all the things that pop culture told you to do. But something inside you still says, you know what? Let me just scope out his social media right quick. Let me see if he has the audacity to be happy without me. Let me see if he is still trying to date that girl, if they're still together. Oh, he still works there? Cool. Let me go ahead and check that out. Let me see how successful he is at his job. This, my friends, is not a good indication of a healthy soul tie. Not at all. Ma'am, you haven't finished healing. Mm-mm. Sis, you might just want to go ahead and run for the hills. Because if he got you like sis on the top up here crying and boo-hooing just because he's successful in life without you, because that wasn't your person anyway, and God probably had better for you in the cut, but you're not willing to trust him and lean on him and understand that his ways are higher than yours. What is we doing? Oh no, baby, what is you doing? Right? Let's go number 3. Whew. Let's say, for argument's sake, you're with a current partner and notice after making some rounds in the bed repeatedly, okay? I believe the young whippersnappers call it a sneaky link. Hmm. Let's say that eventually you have adopted some moods, habits, and thought patterns that are very much like the person who you decided to sneakily link with. And just when you thought, you know what, I need to do better in life, I need to get right with Jesus again, I'm going to leave him alone. And then the slightest bit of his name that's mentioned by your homegirl, oh, what happened to so and so? I thought you were seeing so and so again. Nah, I left him alone, girl. Boom, there he goes at the gas station while you pumping your gas. There he goes, flashing across your text messages yet again at ungodly hours. There he goes again. Talk about some, hey, big head. I know y'all know about the text, big head. I know y'all know about it. I know y'all know about it. Don't play. Because are we going to be for real tonight or we going to be for play tonight? Now let's talk about it. Ma'am, I'm here to tell you very much so that is more than likely an unhealthy soul tie. Anybody who tends to try and creep around to see if you're still available or to see where they can have a place to jump in and act like they never left, ma'am, ma'am, that is an indication of an unhealthy soul tie. These spirits know what they're doing. They know, right? They know when you may be at your most vulnerable. If they don't know, they check in to see if they can manipulate you. They want to manipulate your mind, body, soul, and spirit. They want to get to your soul, to get to your spirit, to crush you. The enemy came to steal, kill, and to destroy, not to uplift you. If you're going to jump into bed with somebody, he better be husband material. I'm not saying and telling you what to do. Again, your body, your mind, your choice, God gave free will. But understand that he gave us a set of instructions, not so that we'd be miserable, but to save you from possible misery by doing things in a way that protects you from all these things. Okay? Sleeping with people was originally designed for marriage, and marriage wasn't always defined by a wedding ring and a ceremony that costs over 50 grand. Marriage in olden days simply means I'm consummating this with somebody and we life partner gang forever. Nobody else. Clink, clink. Okay? Because spiritually, the more things that you engage with, I don't care what it is. It could be a person that you're engaged with physically, it could be music that you engage with, it could be certain forms of media, such as movies. Anything with negative spirits repeated multiple times for your spirit, for it to enter in can very much influence where your soul is heading towards. If I sat down, right, and watched nothing but horror movies, suspense movies all day for months at a time, some of you would probably be like, yo, One Track, I don't know what's going on with you, but your content is just like very dark. What's going on? Are you okay? And I'm like, nah, sis, I was watching Tim Burton. In my mind, I've already been subjected to certain spirits because that's what I entertained. It entered my spirit. So the things that give us the most stimuli are usually the things that are more than likely going to enter into our spirits, our subconscious, right? Looking back into the definition of soul. Did we not say that when it came to soul, it was more than just blood and breath? It also refers to the psyche, the mind, or the consciousness as a whole. This is what I'm talking about, mind, body, spirit, what you allow through the spirit to enter your soul. Are you understanding what I'm talking about now? Is this making a little bit more sense? Put a 1 in the chat if you picking up what I'm putting down. Put a 2 in the chat if you're confused. Maybe we can go on another platform if you guys have questions, and we could talk about a few things, because I didn't even necessarily want to preach and put in a whole bunch of biblical stuff. I understand it's a lot to follow. This alone without any Bible scriptures is a lot to follow. Okay? But the truth is, being equally yoked is more than just being equal in some things. So it's more than just being equal as far as good and bad spirits. Okay? It's more about it's more than just coming to agreement with finances. Oh, he makes the same money as me, or I make more than him, or he makes no. Let me show you why it's important to also understand who you're linking yourself with spiritually through physical consummation, and some things you may want to clarify before you even hop into bed with someone. Okay? Things you may want to clarify before becoming one with someone and making yourselves available to be equally yoked. Okay? Number 1, do you agree on spirituality, religious beliefs, and morals? OMG. Ladies, how many times have you legit met somebody, or you maybe your friend or family member, your niece has met somebody, and they're introducing this person to you, or you're introducing this person to others, right? And on paper, they're perfect. They make enough money to sustain themselves. They, are easy on the eyes. And then God just sends you the discernment in the pit of your stomach to be like, something ain't right. I'm about to throw a monkey wrench in this plan. Hopefully she catch it. And you think just because you brought him to church maybe 3 times and that he said he liked the service, that everything's cool. It's a go. That might be a husband. Whole time he didn't listen to nothing the pastor said or agree with or understood. He just liked the music, and he just liked the idea of a social gathering. But you decide to let him talk the panties off of you. You swore this was gonna be a husband. You wanted it to work so bad because he's so fine. Not even fine, he's fine. Ladies, you have to be careful. Some of you are legit marrying people, having children with people, creating soul ties with people you know nothing about. You don't even know the fact that his morals are not the same as yours because you guys have been completely on different levels as far as how you grew up. Maybe you were raised on love, but he was raised on survival. So his morals are going to look a little different than yours. Okay, let's go to the next one. Do you agree on how to run a household? If I had $5 for every podcast that came out since like 2020 on men and women and their opinions on how to split things in a household, 50-50 this, 90-10 that, 20 and 30 and this and that, it's ridiculous, man. But these are the conversations you should have before you even think about having any type of physical intimacy with somebody. Could you imagine you thought this guy was so foreign? You decided to consummate. Maybe you decided to be bougie, like all of the movies tell you, like how to think like a man, right? You'd have waited that 90 days, like Maya. Then here goes day 92. Y'all get busy. You wake up, and now he's letting you know that he expects you to do the opposite of what you expected. So you're having effective communication on how to run a household after you already gave him the good. Why? You don't waste your time with somebody who's not your person. And you either have one or the other option. You could either pretend and go along with it as if you're okay with it, secretly hoping for this person to change even though they may never. Or two, you can get out, pass go, collect $200 and go about your business. Let's go number 3. Do you agree on how to raise children, how to discipline them? Oh, man. Some of these people, especially in the pandemic, when life was just a new experience, it's like the world restarted and everybody decided to stay in and make babies and pop out and have baby showers. I don't know what, like, I done tasted at least 4 different recipes for meatballs at like 6 baby showers, bruv. But it don't matter how good the meatballs were at your baby shower if you didn't even agree on how you were going to raise your child that's coming into the world. You believe in whoopings, but he don't. He believe in whoopings, but you don't. You believe it's okay to put your child in the corner, he don't, and vice versa. But you decide to sleep with him though, right? Didn't even bother to figure out if he was cool with that. Let's go number 4. How do you feel about hot topics that may cause a drift later? And by hot topics, I'm talking about things like politics. There are so many things, so many emotions that come into play with certain hot topics, where it's like, let's say neither of you agree on who should be president, on a couple of things, right? Whatever concerns that you guys come up and list together. Are you okay with this person not agreeing with you? Is that a deal breaker? Are you able to clearly communicate how you feel about something that it's not okay with you and be okay with them not agreeing with you? Because, ladies, let's be real. We do have a tendency to not be okay with a lot of things, But in order to have a full sense of peace, most of us have been conditioned our whole lives to be quiet and make way for men to dominate and to wreak havoc on us emotionally, but resent them later. And then when they ask you what's wrong, you don't want to tell them. That's not fair. This could have all been avoided if you had just been real with yourself, as to say, I can't deal with a person who believes or thinks like this. It's okay. You don't have to agree on everything. It's okay to date and marry and be with a person that you don't agree everything with, but there's certain things in your life I guarantee that you're just like, nah, I can't marry or be with or start a family with a man who doesn't do X, Y, and Z. Stand on that 10 toes down with Black Air Force One energy. No more waiting for somebody to change their mind. They may never change their mind on that. So what you gonna do next, sis? Let's go to number 5. How do you feel about each other's friends and families? Would you feel safe having your child or children around said people? Oh my God. sis, hear me out. You knew his brother was a whole convict, in and out of jail, can't find a job, can't get his own place, but lives with your boyfriend. But now you want to lay up and have children with this person, knowing his brother is always going to be around, can never get on his feet, offers to babysit your children, but you know he's not the best of influences. Do you really want to necessarily put yourself in a position like this? To have certain people around your child, but now you can't stand up for yourself because you were in love or you feel a way with the person you decided to have relations with, have a child with, have a family with. Or better yet, this is a common one. You know his mother didn't like you. You know she wasn't feeling you. You know that he low key is a mama's boy. But you decided and thought that you were going to consummate this, you were going to have a child, and he was automatically going to change from the moment his child came into the world. Like this wasn't going to be a process. Nothing you do can change a man. It's either he wants to change for you because he cares about you enough, or he's not your person. He could be somebody else's headache. He don't have to be your headache. Let's go number 6. This is the last one. This is the last one. What do you feel about finances, responsibilities being split? Speaking of hot topics, like, for you to get into a relationship willy-nilly and start a family, not even asking how finances are going to go. We had a whole episode about being equally yoked off of the video of a man manipulating and marrying someone who's 10 years younger than him on my Instagram page, knowing he was getting into the marriage $50K in debt. It was secret debt. Them buying a house. Okay? His name is on the deed, but his name ain't on the mortgage. Her name is. Ladies, your job before you get married is to find out as much as possible before you say I do. That way, when you do say I do, you're okay with whatever X factors you didn't know before because you found out as much as you could before you legally said I do and kissed him. Because what you're really doing is kissing goodbye to the things that you know that you're not okay with, but you have made peace with. and you're now kissing and accepting a contract where we life partner gang, I'ma be here, I'ma stick beside him. If I find out some stuff later, I'ma be here. That's what you're saying. It's not just about a selfie day where you spent $100,000 just to post on the gram and then go on your honeymoon and that's it. That's not what marriage is. We got tricked and manipulated into thinking that being married is just a floss on the internet to say, I's married now, y'all. Have a kid or two, only post happy moments, and that's your marriage. No, it's not. You're going to continue as long as you even sleep with somebody and up your body. You are constantly going to be tested through trials and tribulations to see if this person is your person. You're supposed to do all the hard work beforehand. So if you already have an unhealthy soul tie before you say I do, or you planned on saying I do, but you have a whole bunch of unhealthy soul ties other in other places, other spirits and avenues that you done opened up before you found your person, how do you break those? And how do you realign yourself to attract an equally yoked partner? Well, let's talk about it. Well, ladies, the first thing that you need to understand, aside from the fact that you were personally, your soul, your entire being was created by the Most High with a purpose and a plan, is to understand that being wanted physically may feed your ego, but being valued should feed the soul. It should feed your body, mind, and spiritual self, and should glorify God in the process. Wouldn't you just love to feel refreshed and being impatient and knowing that whatever God has for you is just for you? You don't got to share it if you don't want to. You don't got to do nothing out of the ordinary. Not saying it's going to be the easiest thing ever, because nobody's going to agree 100% of the time. But just knowing that having an established relationship where you don't make God proud, but you make him pleased with the way you live your life, the way you shine your light, and others see it and feel it. Those who are friends with you, family with you, can feel the love that you have to offer, and you feel the love you have to offer. And even when people try to diminish your light, you're not going anywhere. A man will eventually see that. A partner will see that. But everything happens in the right timing. When it comes to the promises that the Most High has for you, it always comes down to the right timing. Because if you don't work on yourself, build up yourself with him, if he just gave you what you wanted, you might fumble a good man. How many are at least willing to admit in the chat? Put a one in the chat if you legit had a decent man in your life. Maybe he wasn't exactly your quote unquote type physically, but you at least had the opportunity to be with a good man, but you didn't appreciate him. God could send alley-oops all he wants to you. He could send you a good man. A lot of the time, we would overlook it because we don't know the qualities of one, or the things that we've settled for that are not in alignment for what God has for us. We pass up so many times on good things because of physically what we want and we think we're attracted to. Ladies, it is okay to go months, years without doing the deed. Why put yourself on an emotional roller coaster to constantly go through a revolving door of emotions where you get a sense of a high and then you come crashing down because this person who gave you your fix, these neurotransmitters and hormones temporarily and takes it away, now makes you feel like you've hit a personal rock bottom. I'm here to tell you not every rock bottom is a bad thing. Because when you've hit a personal rock bottom, the only way is up from there. But when this person builds you up just to tear you down, all the progress you've made into loving yourself, this person caught you at a vulnerable moment. Now, just like that, cutting all ties, all soul ties, all shutting down all spiritual avenues, where all they wanted was to deplete your energy, your time you could have been spending on starting that business, starting that podcast you wanted to do, starting that adventure. The enemy comes in various ways to try and throw a monkey wrench in your plans. We got to be a little smarter now, especially in 2024. A lot of these men, I'm sorry to say, there's a lot of hobosexuals. There's men that will legit just want to be romantic and want to knock boots with you just for a place to stay, sis. He don't even have a place to stay. But he want to confess his love and profess his love to you so he can snore in your house and eat your children's fruit snacks. Like, girl, this is not the time to play. We need to effectively communicate and let people know what we want. That includes friends, lovers, whoever. And just know, again, whatever you do outside the will of God, you don't have to necessarily marry somebody to sleep with them. We know that. But again, whatever you do outside of the will of God, you will have to keep doing outside of the will of God to maintain it. And just know that it comes with consequences. Everything comes with consequences, good or bad, okay? I just want to thank you guys for sharing your time with me. Understand the power of your oxytocin, okay? Men, if you are in this chat, do me a favor, share this content with your daughter, your sister, your auntie, your grandma. Somebody may need to hear this, especially a young lady right now. I sense it. Somebody needs to understand that what is being portrayed in mass media right now is not sound doctrine. You are being led astray spiritually. You are being manipulated by spirits into making permanent decisions based on temporary emotions. Even Satan knew how to get to Eve by questioning her logic and letting her make a permanent action based off a temporary emotion. Think about that. And this is why the world is today how it is. From the very beginning, there has been enmity between men and women, being that when they fell from grace and Eve took a bite of that fruit. Yes, Adam was punished because what? He was supposed to take responsibility of Eve, being that he was supposed to show her the ropes. He was the head of their union. And when he blamed Eve, and yes, Eve was responsible for her part in it as well, he said, what? I will continue to cause enmity between man and woman, meaning there will always be a division in the ways that you decide to make decisions, decide to coexist, there will always be friction. This is why I do what I do with cassette tape side A and B. We are designed differently, but together we can come together and be successful. We don't have to bash men all the time to feel empowered. You're already empowered by design. When you start to wake up, ladies, and know who you are and how you were designed and the power you possess, by understanding who you are and your role that God has created you for, you walk differently, you talk differently. You don't hang out with lame women, you don't hang out with lame bozo men. You don't. This is why I do what I do. And I'm still learning this as I go. Of course, there's going to be some people that I have to drop like flies. That's what this channel is for. It's for track records. We're building track records as we go through each episode here. And I thank you all for your engagement. Those of you who keep sending those emails to onetrackrecord123@gmail.com. Thank you. You know who you are. Thank you for the person who sent this anonymous DM that this episode wouldn't even be possible without you. That's how much power you possess as a person with a voice who walks in purpose. But some devil is going to try and diminish your light and lie to you, because that's what they do. We telling them to shut up all 2024, all the way to December. 6 months has already flied by for 2024. We not falling for the okie doke of demons no more. You heard, sis? Thank you. Thank you all for sharing your time with me again. You know where to reach me. I'm also on Instagram, onetrack_Shaina. I will type and talk to you soon. Men, look out for cassette tape side B. I can't say when I'm going to drop it because the demons are listening too. But if you follow me on IG, you'll know what's up. All right? I love you. Trackstar family, you're amazing. I will type and talk to you later. Doodles.